Let's look at a couple of devices. First off, these physical devices with all these different data cables and all these different connectors, they're not cheap. So know that up front. Most of them, and this is one, have their own computer inside of it and have their own external hard drives that you can drop into it along with all the connectors. They're very organized, they're very elegant, and they're expensive. So let's look at a couple of these devices here. There are literally thousands of these devices out there competing in the market. Pay attention to the leaders in the market. I think these are some of the leaders, not all of them. I'm sure somebody else tomorrow is going to come out with a better kit. But let's look at CellDeck. This is your cell phone data capturing system. It has popular data cables, not all of them, but let's talk about what's the difference between all of them and some of them. It's compatible with 2,000 phones. You say, well, that's a lot of phones. Well, there are over 5,000 phone types currently right now, and there are 100 new phone types every month. It's a tough thing to keep up with. I like the UFED, the Universal Forensics Extraction Device, the Cellebrite device. The reason why I like it is because I sent messages to most of these organizations, and they immediately responded to me with not just an auto reply, but they actually said, "Hi, I'm your salesperson for this. Please contact me. I'm available at these times." And they literally interacted with me. I sent an email right back to them, and it was in the middle of the night, and they communicated right back to me. It wasn't an auto response. So I really liked that about the company. You need service and support when you're trying to do phone acquisition, especially if something breaks or something goes wrong. So it's mobile, self-contained, rugged. Now the thing is that it requires lots of cables, and this UFED device does fit into a larger kit that they will actually sell you. That's usually after the original equipment manufacturers. It's usually somebody else that will sell you all the cables that go along with it. It's very compatible with new cell phones even before they're on the market. So they're really trying to be aggressive about having all the connections there. What I like about it is it's the device, the connector, it's got power, and you plug in and you're ready to go. I mean, that's really elegant as a tool. I also like the people from X-Ray. They actually talked back to me very quickly also. You'll notice in their kit here, they have a whole bunch of different kind of connectors out there. There's actually a computer, a tablet built into the box itself. I know that's kind of small to see, but you can go to Microsystemization X-Ray. You can go to their site and look at the details there. But this has got tons and tons of connectors in it. It's also got tools in the case, and it's got places for spare batteries. I like it. It does good job of getting most of the smartphones out there. It also can take GPS navigation units. That's another smart device, if you will. If you don't want to use mapping here, you can actually dump the GPS navigation information from most of the popular GPS tools that are out there. It can actually pull that. So this is a separate unit. I don't know if it can pull GPS data off of a physically embedded in the car unit, but I'm sure there's some sort of connector out there or one being built tomorrow. It can also pull all data from portable music players. We're talking about Zunes and the iTouch and the iPods. Remember, people can use those portable devices as storage devices for their critical data that they want to move around with them. Now, I wanted to give you a best practices, a do's and don'ts kind of thing, but I really couldn't find anything that was really robust enough to say these are the do's and don'ts. So I'll just say, here's some things to keep in mind. And this is kind of a roll-up or a summary of what we've talked about. Remember, the cables are different. There's tons and tons of cables. It's going to be difficult to be prepared for that in the field. You're going to have to find some way to organize that and work with that. I think that if you're really doing a lot of cell phone forensics, that you should establish a relationship with at least 6 or 7 different providers and find out what they're rolling out next. I would even go to the different cell phone stores, and I would establish communication with them, and I would say, hey, when you're getting new units in, when you're about to deploy new units, will you call me up so that I can come in and learn about these units? They'll be happy to to practice on you for their sales techniques, but what you want to know is what are the connectors, what are the differences here, how is it different than the other model, what does it update, what's new about it. So you think about it, when you and I talked about data acquisition forensics for computers, we said, okay, well, the operating systems that we care about are Windows, Linux, Microsoft, and a few other Unix variants. And then we were kind of done, so we had 4 to deal with. Here, what we're saying is you've got to know probably at least 5 or 6 operating systems. Those operating systems are being updated really, really quickly at this point, and then the devices that they go on are being updated very quickly. There's a lot of competition in that market. So you need to reach out to those people that can give you good data about what's coming next, so that when that new phone does come out and it does become part of a crime scene, that you can do acquisition on that particular phone because you've got the connector and you knew about it, as soon as the phone came out. That requires that you be diligent about establishing a relationship with vendors and providers that are out there as a forensics expert on phones. I think that this is an entire group of information that you're going to have to spend a lot of time on. If you become a mobile forensics expert, you're probably not going to be a forensics expert in everything. By the way, I went and searched for expert witnesses, and when I went to computers and I saw the list there, I said, okay, well, I want mobile phone forensics. The list of mobile phone forensics examiners and expert witnesses is relatively short at this point, so it might be a good place to be. So let's keep in mind a couple of things here. There's proprietary file systems, proprietary transfer protocols. You may even need an application installed on a workstation to pull down data. Providers are going to lock down certain features. You know that as far as the iPhones are concerned, that the operating system is locked, and when you jailbreak it, you've broken your contract, so they don't like you to do the jailbreaking. The clock changes the data continuously on this particular device. It's updating it when it's signaling, so Faraday cages are a good tool to use. And different mobile providers might install different operating systems on the same phones. So this provider installs this application, this provider installs that application over there. Last thing that I wanted to leave you with was some readings. There is a special publication, 800-101, that is on cell phone forensics specifically. If you decide that this is your area of expertise and where you want to go, that's your first reading. Then you need to get specific. I think that the proliferation of Android and iPhone are the place to go to learn as much as you possibly can. I came up with 2 good iPhone forensics books, and here are the authors that go along with those books. I did not find a good Android phone forensics book because basically they were out of date, the ones that I chose. So if you know of a good Android phone forensics book, please tell me and I'll put it in the next version of the course. So that's a little readings for you on iPhone forensics. This is your introduction to iPhone forensics, and I hope you make it a part of your expertise.